All right, people, what is going on? This is episode number 32 of the VF Cast. I am the VF Baller, and over here we talk about just mostly gaming stuff. And got something that's pretty interesting, in my opinion, that we're going to talk about this week. And I think this is something that, you know, mostly like parents that have kids that game or people who like live services or like online games that you have to continue to contribute to. I think this is something that you guys would probably like, and if you know, like, you might find it interesting as well. Also, I want to give my thoughts and opinions on live services and how they will be able to actually be beneficial to the gamer instead of all of the negative stuff that you hear about live services. Because there's a lot of negative. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of negative stuff when it comes to live services, to the point where it's really, unplayable at times. If you don't throw money into it, it can really be, it could be a hassle to play these type of games. So I want to give you my opinions on that as well and how to make them better, because they can be really good if the developers and the companies do them the right way. So hopefully hopefully you guys will check that out. All right. First and foremost, before I get started, I finally got a really good footing with this content creating thing. Now, I have a second channel called the First and Frame Rates channel. I do mostly Georgia Southern football and Atlanta Falcons football over there. And I kind of got it to where it's a structured set of content that I put out throughout the week. And over here is structured as well, but I only do basically like one upload a week, which is in my opinion, I feel like it's not fair to you guys. There's so many ways to put up content now, and I need to push that, and I need to put that out there for you guys to get. Like, yes, the other day, I did a video from the car driving home from work. I used to do that a good bit on this channel, and I kind of stopped, but now I'm going to get back to doing that. Also, I'm not going to say when. On top of the, doing the car videos, because it's just easy to put that type of content, give my opinions on stuff. And I see a handful of people do like those videos. I'm not going to say yet, but I do plan on coming back doing live streams again, like gaming live streams. Like, I used to go live and play video games and stuff. I think I got a footing to where I can actually do that again. So be on the lookout for that. I know there's been people on Twitter that are asking me when I'm going to go back live, when I'm going to start live streaming games. Because I haven't finished this setup of this room yet, but at one point there was no couch right here. I finally got a couch here so I can sit and play games. But now I think I'm in a position now that with all these games that I have back here, and I rearranged some stuff. I took the PS5 and the Xbox One S. I put that back over there with the rest of the games, and I should be able to split the video image of the games on the TV and the games on my other monitor right here, where I can sit here and live stream to you guys without worrying about having to sit over there to play games. So I'm planning on doing it. I can't tell you when, because I don't know when, but it'll probably be like a once a week thing as well, where I could sit, I could play games, we could chat, we could chill like we used to do. And hopefully that'll be in the near future. I will give you guys an update on that. So nevertheless, let's get into this live service type of deal, because Sony and Bungie just collaborated. Sony just bought Bungie, and the first thing that they came out with saying that they want to expand their online multiplayer reach. Now, we know Sony has been lacking on the multiplayer reach. They don't have many multiplayer games, first party studios. I think the last one, in my opinion, that was good, and this is a long time ago. The last multiplayer game that was good for Sony was Uncharted 2. Now, mind you, that was like what, 2009, 2010. I mean, I platinumed that game on PS3. I love Uncharted 2. It's probably my favorite one in the series. But it was so good. A person like me was playing online and I think I leveled up like level 80 or level 85 on that game. And Uncharted 2 gave you a great experience with online gameplay. And it was something that I don't even think it was in the cards for Naughty Dog to do so. But that is a form of live service that they had, that Sony had at one point. And I'm gonna double back to that in a second. But with Bungie, and Sony getting together. You know, Bungie does a thing with Destiny 2. Uh, they're planning on doing 10 live service games by 2026. Now, what does this mean? That means that they're going to try their best to get the a multiplayer online experience out there, and you better believe that this right here, with them spending $3.6 billion on acquiring Bungie, you best believe that they're going to try to nickel and dime you to play these games. Now, this is what I said earlier about the parents. I think this is something that you guys will really like to listen to, and I'm gonna give you some insight on this. If you don't know, live service games are basically online games that you constantly have to pump money in to keep it afloat. It has to start off with a good footing, and it has to keep going with with the gamers' intent or their compliance. And I don't want to use that word, but basically that's what it is, with their compliance to continuously funnel money into the game. It's kind of like it's kind of like you're funding to keep playing online, but it has turned into a situation where that some companies really do crazy practices, and really, in my opinion, is somewhat underhanded practice to continue these live service to keep going. Therefore, in some cases they will, throttle your progress in the game, so it like takes a long time to get really good in the game, or you can pay money to be like really good in a game like ASAP, or they will they would do certain things to, well, that's one of the main things, but they'll do certain things like with weapons to make them either nerf weapons so you can buy better weapons, and or characters. They will make you pay more for, make you pay a handful amount of money for content as far as new maps, new areas, or they'll just give you like a season pass that is like, in some cases, the season pass of the game, which is kind of like a all access an all access fee, where you'll get access to all of this stuff for a fee, and that fee is almost is like more than more than the game itself in some cases, like, or it'd be just as much as the game. Like the game would be like $60, and the game or the pass would be like another $40 or another $50, or sometimes it'd be a duplicate price of the actual game. Now, I remember discovering this back in, what it was, 2013 with Battlefield 4. And that's another game that did live form of live service that, in my opinion, did very well. You would pay for the game, which the game at the time was $59.99 to $60, and you would pay for a premium. Battlefield 4 Premium was, I think, if I can remember, I want to say it was $49.99 or $59.99. It was one of the two, but you had access to like a whole bunch of maps, a whole bunch of weapons, a lot of different content, and I think these maps were basically things that could be in another game, standalone. Like China Rising and Naval Strike and I can't. It was Second Assault. Those could have been games in itself, but you will get in a situation where you will have to pay this money. And like I said, for parents, this is something that you may want to listen to. People who like to get into this, you may want to listen to this. If they're going to do live services for the next for 10 live service games in 4 years, they need to do this correctly. They need to give content that is comparable to what people are paying for. Now, is that impossible? It probably is, because some of these companies don't do that. But there's a way to do it, and I'm going to discuss this. I talked about Uncharted 2 earlier. Uncharted 2 was one of those games that necessarily didn't have a live. They had a live service, but it wasn't that much that you had to pay for. I think I remember paying for golden guns. I remember paying for a little bit extra for a couple of maps. It wasn't. This was like the early stages of online gaming where you had to pay. And I don't think I paid no more than maybe $20, or maybe that. I can't remember. It was probably less than that. But the content that you got was so fulfilling. You got maps, you got guns, you had I can't remember if you paid for characters or whatever, I don't remember. But every single map that was on that game was for the most part really good maps. I can't remember one time that the maps were like terrible or whatever. But they were good maps. You were able to play and have fun, and you felt like you got your money's worth. Now, mind you, with some kids nowadays, the problem with this is kids would like to get into a situation where they want to play with their friends. They want to play the latest and greatest. And then sometimes they would try to do that at all costs. So you be mindful of what they're paying for, because sometimes they could be paying for stuff that is like really not worth it, or they'll be paying for like some small insignificant things just to feel like they're fitting in. Live service games do that for people in some cases. They have a really big problem with doing that, and some gamers just don't some gamers actually feel like they're getting the short hand of the cards, or they just basically feel like they have paid a whole bunch of money to get a really overpowered player in a game, and now they're on a level playing field with everyone else because people spend this type of money for these type of live services. Also, in some cases, these live service games also have a tendency to have problems because, let it be known, live service games are sometimes games that are being they're being made on the fly, or they're being developed as the season goes along. So there'll be some cases where some XP, like experience points, don't work. There'll be some cases where some bugs and fixes that'll be there that'll be hindering the gameplay. Now, mind you, when you have problems in games that's hindering gameplay, you have to realize you're paying money into this. So therefore, if you're paying money into a situation where you're constantly having problems, this is where you have like really big issues. In some cases, some people still feel like they're compelled to continue to pay for these type of situations, so those problems will be alleviated. So therefore, you have to be really careful with these things. Like when I talked about Uncharted 2, they did a good job of giving you content. Battlefield 4 gave you a really good deal when you paid like the extra $40 or $50 for premium. You got so much stuff. Like I said, it was almost like a season pass basically, and you got all access to all of this stuff, and the stuff for the most part really worked, and that was a good thing about it. Now, I'm not going to hold you guys up for too much longer. About almost like 13 minutes. What I want to talk about is how to make these games work if they're going to do a live service. If they're going to do a live service format, that's 10 games in the span of 4 years. So you're probably talking about two games a year. That's a lot of games, and that's a lot to push out. So they're going to have to do something really good if they're going to make this work. Now, to make live service games work for Bungie and Sony, since they want to do 10 games by 2026, give out proper content. Give out proper content. Do your live service games. If you want people to pay their money to play your games, just give out proper content. Give out decent maps. Make sure your servers are working. Make sure the content is fulfilling and it's fun to play. Just don't put stuff together. Because I know right now with this acquisition, they're going to be trying to find a way to recoup this money, and they'll do it with the least amount of production to get the most profit. That's just how they do things. Not they as in Sony, but just gaming companies in general. That's just how they do things. And that's just how business is. Businesses in general will like to make the most profit by doing the least amount of expenses. So just be mindful. Be mindful when you're watching this type of stuff, because that's what they need to do. They need to give out the best content, or the most you could say the best content, or the most accessible content, the most enjoyable content if you're going to give out live services. Now, if you're going to put it in a situation where people are going to have to pay, just make sure they pay make sure they're getting their money's worth. Now, we all know by common sense standards in the world of economics, we know how, we know what money is worth, what is content is worth based on what you pay for. I mean, for the most part, some people feel like everything should be free. Some people think like, they should pay more because these companies are, trying their best to make good games. But when you put out the content that's worth it, that's what it is. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is making sure that the service is up and running at the majority of times. Now, I remember there's another game that I played. It wasn't necessarily a live service game, but it was an online only game. It was a game called Mag. That game came out in 2008 or something like that, or 2007. I can't remember when it came out. It was somewhat in the middle or early stages of the Sony life cycle. Game server shut down in I can't remember when they shut down, but it was like 2011 or something like that, I would want to say. But with that being said, their servers were good. They had maintenance between 3 and 5 in the morning. I think it was every day or every other day where they did maintenance on their servers, and they did a pretty good job. Now, mind you, they did this and they weren't getting money from the players. This server was running based on the strength of just having the game up. Now, if you're going to do live services, I don't see where you could allocate funds into having that type of online to be maintained all the time. Now, I don't think Bungie necessarily had a problem with their online. I haven't played Destiny 2 in like years, so I don't know. But you want to maintain your online capabilities. Make sure they stay up and running. Because if you're going to have 10 live services, you want to have them up and running. And as long as they're up and running, people are going to continue to play. The more that they play, the more they're probably going to be able to spend money on your service. So this is something that they might want to, keep up. The third thing I would say is that let it be a level playing field for everybody. And I mean, I understand some players are going to be more overpowered than others. But when I mean level playing field is like give everyone a chance to compete. If they do have to spend money to level up or whatever the case may be, if they want to, let it be reasonable, Also, you would want to put in a situation where your XP, your experience points, are a reasonable set of boosting. Like every game you play, you get some form of XP that actually feels like you are progressing. So those three things, basically, I feel like those are the things that need to be continuously maintained. If Bungie or any company, Sony, any company wants to continue to do live services, just have it to where these games are still going to be maintained through a process to where the gamer themselves or even the parent that are helping their children play these games feel like they're getting their money's worth. They don't feel like they're being nickel and dime. The kids don't feel like they have to, go through their parents' finances to actually continue to play these games. Because there's been issues with this along for a while. I mean, the whole FIFA situation with the credit cards. I'm not saying that it's the kid's fault or whatever. This still falls back on parenting. But still, it shouldn't get down to that. When you pick up a controller and play these games, you should be able to be in a situation where you're going to have fun and just enjoy these games instead of just worrying about, how much money I need to spend to continue to play these games. Those type of things are really nerve-wracking when you really think about it. Because at the end of the day, you will want to just have fun. You will want to just to enjoy yourself. Even if you're putting money into, you want to feel like your investment is actually a worthy cause. You want it to be something that when I put money into this, I feel like I'm getting something in return. I mean, the last live service I really played like that was Battlefield 4, and that I paid. Let me tell you something about Battlefield 4. I paid for premium, which is, I think premium was like $49. I paid premium on PlayStation 4. I paid for premium on Xbox and on PC. So I paid for premium 3 times, and I don't regret it. Because all the content that we got was much more than just another game. I mean, like I said, China Rising, we got Naval Strike, Second Assault. I can't remember the other one that we was fighting, or we was having maps in the snow, and we had night operations. We had so much content. I think we had like seven different map things that we had. Seven different map packages or something like that. It was pretty cool, and the weapons were great too. So it Battlefield 4 is a pretty good standard that most companies will look into. But sadly, before I close, I'll say this: sadly, these companies aren't looking into that. That's why I say parents just be mindful of what your kids are doing when they play online. I think Fortnite is a pretty good look because it's free to play. Because I know a lot of kids like to play Fortnite. Minecraft is another one people like to play. I think the level of entry is really low, and I don't know too much about the live services on that, but I'm pretty sure there's something there. But just have to be mindful of what our kids or yourself, because just because we're grown, that doesn't mean we're not susceptible to this stuff. Just be mindful of what you're putting into, because these live service games can be fun, even the way they're set up. But you just have to be mindful of what you're putting your money into, because these could be fun. I gave situations and elements or examples where they could be fun and what they can do. But even the way they are, they can be fun. But you just have to be mindful of what you're putting your money into. And, at the end of the day, if you do find enjoyment the way they're set up, that's great. But there's some people that aren't. They don't. And a lot of these live service games do crash and burn. There's only a few that make it. There's a lot of live service games that are doing it, but a lot of them don't make it. Most of the ones that do make it are like free to play. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If the level of entry is very low, or if it's free to play, it can be really successful with their services. So just look at everything and all the things around it, because you can have fun with them. You really can. So that's going to be my conclusion of episode, what is this, 32, 31? Man, I'm all over the place. I want to apologize about that. Episode 32, yes, of the VF Cast. I am VF Baller, and like I said, I try to do these every week. And for the most part, I'm going to be trying to do more live streams. I can't tell you when, but I'm gonna do more live streams. I'm definitely gonna be doing more content, like especially like from when I'm driving home from work, or when I ever have a chance to do a video like this, because you guys deserve it. I thank you guys for for the most part supporting. Hold on, my son is here. What you say, baby? Knock on the door. The door's closed. Hey, babe, open the door downstairs. Kay trying to get out. He's trying to get downstairs. But I do thank you guys for the support, and I really appreciate you guys. If you like this content, the like button, share this, and subscribe to the channel. Come here, baby. You want to say hi to everybody? Come on. Oh. So we about to leave. We about to go. You need to pull up on? You don't need this. All right, so we're about to get out of here. So I will see you guys on the next one. Episode 33, it'll be around Super Bowl time, so we'll be talking about a little bit of football games. Other than that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for the content, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hey, tell everybody bye. Bye. All right, y'all. See y'all on the next one. Peace. I see.